there is a scenario where the price of Bitcoin could go to $1 million. But it's not going to mean you're a millionaire if you own a Bitcoin. I mean, you're a millionaire. I mean, yeah, on paper, but there's a lot of millionaires in Zimbabwe. There are a lot of millionaires, in countries that have had hyperinflation. I mean, I don't think it has any value. That's the problem with it. Now, I conceded that, look, investors have surprised me in the past by doing dumb things and how big a bubble can get before it pops, right? Somebody said, no one ever went broke underestimating the intelligence of the American public. And it probably applies to the American investor too. I think I've overestimated their intelligence for quite some time, so which is a lot easier to do.
When the Bitcoin exchange-traded funds first came out, they caused a lot of excitement in the market. Prices went up quickly, making people hopeful about making lots of money. But soon after, the ETFs lost about 20% of their value, which made many people sell their Bitcoin. This is what we'd call a classic sell the news occasion. But despite this setback, the market was able to bounce back and reach new highs. This is because many people remain hopeful and bullish towards Bitcoin, especially after the Bitcoin ETF conference in Miami. However, amid all this hope, some still voice out their skepticism. In a discussion with Anthony Pompliano, Peter Schiff, American economist, financial broker, and founder of Euro-Pacific Capital, has given his unfiltered opinions regarding the current situation of Bitcoin and Bitcoin ETFs. Schiff doesn't think Bitcoin's current success will last long, and he doubts Bitcoin's ability to surpass its current resistance levels without a significant new catalyst. Looking back at how Bitcoin has done over the past 3 years, Schiff states that it hasn't changed much. Even with all the news about Bitcoin's current rise, Schiff believes that the ETFs were Bitcoin's last chance for new people to start buying. If you've seen our past videos, you're aware of our stance on this digital asset. However, we believe that it's important to analyze the viewpoints of others to get a better understanding of the subject matter. Let's now take a look at some clips as Peter Schiff shares his unreserved insights towards Bitcoin. As we present these clips, we kindly request your support. Please consider liking, commenting, and subscribing to our channel. Your support encourages us to continue providing cryptocurrency finance updates for everyone. We hope you enjoy the video.
But I just don't think there's enough upside anymore in Bitcoin for it to be interesting to anybody. I mean, there are plenty of other things that you can buy that have more upside than Bitcoin. Most of the Wall Street community was bashing Bitcoin back then. I wasn't, alone. Everybody was bashing Bitcoin. All the big names were saying it was ridiculous. So nobody really was owning it. There was no El Salvador or MicroStrategy, and other stuff was around. They didn't have all the NFTs. I mean, so there was more upside in it. If you wanted to gamble on it, it was like a lottery ticket and it paid off. But at this point, there's just not enough upside. I mean, it's been going sideways now for 3 years. I mean, it hit the high, almost hit 70,000 in 2021, right? This is 2024. All the hype, all the promotions. I think these ETFs, this was the last chance to sucker in new buyers, and we'll see if it works, but it may not. I mean, I don't think it's going to be sold. So, for example, I was a broker for 30 years, licensed stockbroker. This is the first year that I'm not FINRA anymore, but I don't believe that commission brokers or the firms that employ them are going to allow the solicitation of these ETFs, especially in an IRA. I don't believe that there's any brokerage firm that is going to let a broker recommend that these be bought in an IRA. I mean, it's just,
why not?
You're asking for a lawsuit that you're going to lose if it goes down. So I don't see
Why?
it. Let me finish. I don't think any fiduciary money managers, of which I still am at Euro Pacific Asset Management. I'm a registered investment advisor. As a fiduciary, I don't think most fiduciaries are going to take the risk of putting this in the portfolios. I just don't think so. So I think that the demand for these ETFs is going to come from unsolicited buying of individuals mainly. And I don't think that's going to be enough to move the needle the way you need it to be moved. given where the market is. Well, no, I don't think Bitcoin is going to go to $1 million unless there's hyperinflation. I don't think that Bitcoin is going to trade up to $1 million on just pure people gambling on it. I just don't see it. It's too big a move. Too much money would have to come into it. And, I just don't think there's that much dumb money in the world. I mean, there's definitely dumb money out there. I mean, there is a scenario where the price of Bitcoin could go to $1 million. But it's not going to mean you're a millionaire if you own a Bitcoin. I mean, you're a millionaire. I mean, yeah, on paper, but there's a lot of millionaires in Zimbabwe. There are a lot of millionaires, in countries that have had hyperinflation. Venezuela has a lot of millionaires, but their millions don't buy anything. So that's the way that, Bitcoin might go up in that sense, but it's not going to go up in a real sense. If Bitcoin is $1 million, gold is probably going to be higher than that.
Peter Schiff also disagrees with the idea of central banks using Bitcoin as a backup during times of financial trouble. He believes that Bitcoin is not a reliable or stable asset. Schiff argues that if a country's currency faces problems, Bitcoin wouldn't be helpful because its value can change a lot, and it may drop even more than the currency's value. From his explanation, central banks need assets they can easily turn into cash if they need to support their currency during tough times. Bitcoin doesn't meet this requirement because it's not stable enough. Schiff instead believes that gold is a better option because it has been a reliable store of value for a long time and doesn't add extra risk or uncertainty. Let's look at more clips of Peter Schiff as he explains his stance.
Well, I think central banks look at Bitcoin, but I don't think they're considering buying it, if that's what you mean by look at it. I mean, they look at it, but there's no way they're going to buy it. But they are buying gold, and they're going to continue to buy gold. They're going to buy more gold. How many of them? They are de-dollarizing. They're trying to get out of the dollar, and they're not going to get into Bitcoin. There's just no way they would do that. They are looking for a conservative store of value to act as a reserve. Bitcoin, even if you like Bitcoin is not a safe haven, low volatile store of asset. If your currency were to come under attack, you wouldn't be able to defend it with Bitcoin. I mean, because Bitcoin can crash more than your currency. I mean, Bitcoin is very unpredictable and very volatile. So there's no way it would not be able to satisfy the criteria of a central banker. They're not looking at the upside, right? When you're a central banker looking for reserves, you're not thinking, hey, I want to buy Bitcoin because it can go way up. Even if you think it might go way up, you have to concede that there is a risk that it can go way down. Even if it ultimately goes way up, Bitcoin could crash at any moment. And so that's not the type of asset that a central banker is going to have as a reserve asset on its books. The only real alternative it has to another fiat currency is gold. So if I'm a central banker, I can choose between dollars, euros, yen, pounds, Swiss francs, gold, right? Those are my choices. Bitcoin is not even within the realm of possibility. Even if they thought the price was going to go up, they're still not going to buy it. They have reserves so that they can move into the market if their currency starts to fall for whatever reason. It's the reserves of the central bank that enables the central bank to go into the market and intervene and buy back some of those currency units, and they pay for it with their reserves to support the price, to maintain confidence in that currency. If you didn't have any reserves, you have no way to protect your currency. There's nothing behind it. So you need to have an asset that at any moment, if you need to, at any moment in time, you can use that asset, you can sell that asset to buy back your currency and support the price. You can't do that with Bitcoin because you got no idea where the hell Bitcoin is going to be. And the Bitcoin market isn't liquid enough if you need to dump a whole bunch of Bitcoin on the market. And in fact, if a central bank was actually dumb enough to hold its reserves in Bitcoin and its currency started to fall and the market sensed, oh my God, this central bank is going to have to dump Bitcoin to protect its currency, they would dump the Bitcoin first. They would start selling Bitcoin. It's like they'd put the central bank in a box. It would make you very vulnerable. You need a big liquid market like the dollar or like gold. Gold is liquid enough. If some central bank has gold reserves and that central bank is in trouble, the gold market's not going to crash. You're not going to be able to crash that market. It's too big. But the Bitcoin market is easy to manipulate and crash, and if you get a bunch of selling. So it would never work. All of this is a pipe fantasy. Central banks are not going to buy gold. If that's why you're buying Bitcoin, then stop buying it. I agree with you. Other individuals might buy gold. There may even be some hedge funds, or some private equity or some pension fund that might be dumb enough to buy it. I don't think there'll be a lot of those. But yeah, that could happen. But there's no way the central banks, that's not even within the realm of possibility.
The possibility of Bitcoin being adopted by central banks is a subject of ongoing discussion and speculation within the financial industry. While widespread adoption has not yet occurred, many factors suggest that integration into traditional monetary systems is possible shortly. Some central banks have expressed interest in exploring digital currencies, such as the People's Bank of China and the Central Bank of Nigeria. Additionally, the increasing acceptance of Bitcoin among institutional investors and financial institutions, evidenced by significant investments in cryptocurrency, may influence central banks' perceptions of its legitimacy and utility. For all we know, it may only be a matter of time before Bitcoin's global adoption. Despite Peter Schiff's skepticism throughout the years, Bitcoin has shown resilience and continued to thrive in the face of challenges. Bitcoin recently reached another milestone, surpassing a more than 2-year high and pushing its market cap above $1 trillion. Its price surged to $52,000, the highest level since December 2021. Despite a temporary dip in price following the approval of ETFs, investors remain optimistic about Bitcoin's prospects for the year. Aside from ETF inflows, investors are eagerly looking forward to the halving, an event in Bitcoin's code that happens every 4 years and cuts down its supply. The next halving is scheduled for April, and historically, it has helped Bitcoin reach new all-time highs in the following months. What do you think about Peter Schiff's opinion regarding Bitcoin? Feel free to comment below on whether you agree or disagree. Despite differing views, Bitcoin has made significant strides in finance. Experts like Peter Schiff have doubts, but Bitcoin's resilience and potential still captivate many. If you found this video helpful, please like, share, and subscribe so you can see more of our cryptocurrency news and insights. Thank you for watching, and see you in the next video. Happy investing!